Hey people, how's it going? Today I'm going to be doing another VOD review, this time of FORG1VEN Tristana. Now if you've seen any of my previous VOD reviews, one of which was on FORG1VEN's Caitlyn, you'll probably have noticed that I tend to be rambly, unorganized with my thoughts. I have trouble wording what I want to say, I repeat myself a lot, etc. Well, I would just like to preface this by saying that I just spent 3 hours taking notes and sorting out my talking points on this 24-minute game. So by God, I really hope you will notice a big improvement from previous VOD reviews, as we once again break down FORG1VEN's playstyle of unrelenting pressure. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. Some notes before we start the game off. First note, his support is Pantheon, a pick that's been very uncommon, but definitely viable based on the data so far. And the buffs on this patch will have only improved his viability. Fun fact, me and a friend in Season 7 used to run Tristana Pantheon bot lane, and it was some of the most fun League of Legends I have ever played. It was such a fun duo because of how brutal the all-ins were. It was pretty much just a free kill anytime Pantheon stunned someone. Now with the rework, I'm pretty sure Pantheon's engages are even stronger. So my advice, you want to have fun? Try Tristana Pantheon. I give you my full money back guarantee that you're going to have a good time. And if you're lucky, it'll turn out to be a super dominant pick that you're ahead of the curve in picking. But no guarantees on that since I haven't actually tried it myself yet. Second note, Elise is starting topside. That means they can probably expect a gank at around Elise's level 3 onwards. Since Tristana Pantheon is such a brutal all-in matchup, Casey Yuumi will 100% want to be laning under tower, since if they ever get stunned by Pantheon away from the tower, they'll get one shot. But with Yuumi being such a weak support with very little presence against engage lanes pre-6, and especially with Elise being such a good turret diver thanks to her ability to lose aggro on demand, there's pretty much no way they could ever survive a level 3 dive, even if they happen to be full HP. This matchup requires Mordekaiser to play around bot side to protect his bot lane, and if he doesn't, if Elise is smart, this lane should be abused really hard. Third note, because of the matchup, Yuumi has taken Exhaust instead of Ignite to help Kesa survive. I also feel like Kesa really should have taken Barrier instead of Teleport. Teleport is nice in matchups where you're going to get poked down, but this is a bot lane where they want to kill you even when you're full HP. Teleport is only going to help you by allowing you to TP back onto the lane once you've already died, and if you ask me, this pretty pessimistic approach to picking your summoner spells. I think I'd rather just not die, wouldn't you? So, yeah, alright. Those are the notes out of the way. Let's get on with the game. That wasn't the 3 hours worth of notes, by the way. That was just some free game shit I wrote down. Alright, so the game actually starts off with a big fiesta here. Mordekaiser engaging onto Cassiopeia. FORG1VEN joins in now. I won't even bother trying to analyze this. It's too much going on. All I will say is, yeah, FORG1VEN flashes in, gets the last auto attack in, gets the kill. Beautiful. Starts off the game with a kill. No, I just had the flash there. Alright, so actually because of this fiesta, Elise didn't even end up starting topside. She ended up starting blue because Gnar had the recall. So, yeah. Still wanted to make that note anyway about Elise's level 3 just because usually it would apply, even if it didn't end up applying in this game. Also, another note, FORG1VEN has no flash and Pantheon has no summoners. So a lot of their aggression early on is going to be like really limited. Their kill potential is not going to be as great as it should be. And likewise, Elise isn't going to be playing around bot side for the first few minutes. So yeah, the matchup will definitely be a lot more lenient towards these two than it usually would be. Okay, so, and I forgot to mention, FORG1VEN awarded this brush at around like 145 because Pantheon has no summoners and he also has no flash. So if like Mordekaiser were to go for a really cheese gank, that would be pretty bad for them. And the ward lasts long enough that even if Mordekaiser doesn't like level 2 gank through here, even if he like clears red then goes to Krugs and then does Raptors and then he's level 3 and then he wants to gank still, this ward will still be here. It'll protect them against that, so it's no problem. Then here, hang on, let me just go back on that again. Yeah, there's his ward. He misses one CS, but it doesn't matter. He still gets the XP. Then here what happens is... Okay, so Yumi's trying to harass Forgiven with her auto attack. And she's really overextended in the process, but Pantheon thinks, I would really rather focus Kesa because damage onto Yumi kind of feels meaningless because of the fact that she can just reattach onto her partner at any moment in time. So like, you can drop her to like 100 HP and then she can just stay attached to her partner for like the next 5 minutes and she'll fucking recover all of her HP through HP regen anyway. So it's like, the damage you do onto Yumi feels just useless a lot of the time unless you just one-shot her for the kill. So if you can get damage onto the ADC instead, you'd rather do that. So here, Pantheon sees he can go on Kesa instead, so he decides to do that. While Forgiven instead, I mean, he was getting zoned by Yumi, right? So by the time Pantheon gets the stun onto Kesa here, Forgiven is way too far away to actually capitalize on that stun. But if he tries to just walk up to Kesa here, then the stun is already going to be over and she's just going to keep walking away. So he can't really do much to Kesa, so he just starts trading onto Yumi instead. And because of that reason, like, this trade is probably still going to be favorable towards Forgiven's lane overall, just because their bot lane is stronger in trades right now. It would have been better overall if they just focused the same target. And so because of Forgiven not being able to focus Kesa, it's kind of a mistake of Pantheon to not focus Yumi here, especially since she was so overextended. Like, there was probably like no way she was gonna die anyway, because I mean, she had her attach anyway. But yeah, in general, you want to focus the same target if possible. Okay, so here they start to rush down level 2 as quickly as possible, hoping Kesa gets caught off guard and gets caught by the level 2 engage. But as you can see, she just barely manages to stay out of Pantheon's W range, so it doesn't actually lead to anything. And now they have the option to either shove this wave into the tower, like as quickly as possible, or temporarily freeze it until the next wave to execute a slower push, where it will inevitably hit the tower since it's already pushing for them. The only question is when. Given how close the incoming wave is to the tower already, you can see here, this is where Forgiven's wave is relative to this tower. So the enemy wave is like pretty much the same distance. So given how close that is, and how slow Tristana is at pushing, at this spot, I'd wager their best option is to slow push it and focus on pushing the next wave when they have more time to push. But at some point, they need one of their waves to fully shove into the tower and not awkwardly crash in front of it, like around here, where Kesa and Yumi can just keep it frozen. They want it to push back to them, like go back around this spot. But I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, they want it to push back to them to a spot where they can actually threaten with their engage. If the waves get stuck here, like right in front of the tower, then they can't really do anything because they don't win through trading; they win through all-inning. So they need to be able to be in a spot where they can all in. So Tristana's E passive makes it unfortunately really hard to push slowly, while also not being great at pushing fast either. So it looks kind of close, but it fortunately does push slow enough that it doesn't freeze in front of the enemy tower, at least not quite. This is still like if these casters obviously were like nowhere near the tower, kind of, but if they had been a lot closer, these melee minions, once they arrived, they would have started dying to this tower and made it really hard to actually shove with their minions all dying right away because they need their minion damage to help them push, right? So it's good that the wave ended up like around here, where even once the melees arrive, they're still going to be out of tower range because that helps them shove faster, and it means that the wave, even though like the wave is frozen right now, at the moment it's no problem anyway. And it still leaves them the option to fully shove this next wave in, and then that will reset and prevent, well, I mean, it's already frozen, but it will stop it being frozen. So here, Forgiven used a neat trick on Tristana where he uses E on a minion right as it's about to die, and then Lost hits it, which causes E to instantly explode with 1 stack and also explode through the passive, causing a double explosion of AoE, which can be used either to poke without getting minion aggro or having to commit, or also just to shove. I'm not even 100% sure whether he used it here to shove or just for the poke on Yuumi, but I suspect it was a mix of both. And even if Yuumi hadn't walked back into it, he still would have been happy to just have used the Z for some extra wave clear onto the melee minions. Okay, so here Yuumi walks up way too far to harass Forgiven, and Pantheon gets an opportunity to stun her outside of tower range. We'll see that. Yeah. Unfortunately, because it's Yuumi, the damage they get off onto her isn't too significant, since she can just hop onto Kesa and stop taking damage. And Forgiven can't actually jump in with his W alongside Pantheon like he usually would in those scenarios where they catch somebody out with a stun, because he doesn't have enough time to get the bomb reset before Yuumi reattaches. And obviously as well, he's not full HP, he's kind of low. So jumping into a scenario where he knows he's not going to get a kill, that's really risky when he knows he's not going to be getting almost any gain. So Pantheon jumps in with a stun there, gets some damage off onto Yuumi. Forgiven trades some auto attacks, but if you're wondering why he doesn't actually commit very hard, that's why. They really need to be focusing the Kesa if possible. The thing is, the only person to have ever overextended far enough so far is Yuumi. So, okay, so here Pantheon starts channeling Hexaflash to try and cheese and engage, while Yuumi is walking up toward the brush. He can, in theory, cancel his Hexaflash like right now and just engage onto Yuumi. But again, they don't have the burst to one-shot her since it's Yuumi, and because of the reset and Kesa's lack of respect for the Hexaflash, Kesa is for once in a position that she actually can be engaged on. Like if this Hexaflash were to go off right now, he would be in range to use jump on her. But the thing is, he started channeling it so late. Like he literally started channeling it like right as she was about to get in range of warding the brush. So now you'll see, I mean, the brush has been warded for like half a second, 1 second now, and this Hexaflash still has like a second of channel to go. So yeah, he could have just flashed it to go on Yuumi, but he wanted to at least try and go on Kesa, because we've seen they've already jumped on Yuumi quite a few times. Look at her, she's basically full HP. It's so hard to actually make a long-lasting effect by harassing Yuumi. You've got to focus the ADC. So he passed up on that opportunity to go on Yuumi to try and get Kesa, and he failed. So he ends up getting nothing, but I mean, what he lost wasn't really much anyway. And now you can see he just got another opportunity to jump onto Yuumi anyway. So she takes some damage. Forgiven actually chose to go in there. It's kind of pointless. He got the rocket jump damage onto Kesa. She had her shield up, so it wasn't really that much. And then he gets 2 more auto attacks off on her. But the bomb is on Yuumi, not on Kesa, so the damage isn't that much. At least he pressed the attack on her, though. That was actually 3 auto attacks total then, so that's something. It was actually a decent amount of poke. And this time, since it wasn't like right up to the tower, and since he's healthier than he was before, he actually felt comfortable enough to go for that. So now you can see that all the HP bars are low, including Forgiven's bot lane, but it's ultimately a situation that favors them, since they're such a dominant duo in all lanes, and the wave is finally, well, it's not reset yet, but as you'll see now, it's finally reset to like the middle of the wave, where Case has to step really far away from the tower to last hit. It's really unfortunate that Pantheon already burned his flash in the level 1 Fiesta, since if he had flash right now, this is as simple as just flashing onto Kesa and stunning her to give room for Forgiven to jump on her to slow her and get a stack of a Z. And at this HP, she's like 100% dead because they don't have exhaust, they don't have heal. A Pantheon stun in this situation would kill her. But unfortunately, he doesn't have flash. He only has Hexa Flash. And this burst is still warded, so he can't cheese from there. He chose to go for run into this brush to try and cheese her from there instead, but you can see she's so far away from this brush, like the chances of that working out are actually quite low. And as you can see, if I switch over to blue side vision, he didn't actually enter the brush. They can see him doing this. So there's no world in which this should lead to a kill. But you want to see how the next few seconds play out. They don't... Yeah, apparently they didn't notice him channeling Hexaflash. He literally channeled it right in front of them. He failed to get in the brush. He just channeled it right in front of them. They didn't notice. Or at least Kesa didn't. So he lands the stun. Because he landed the stun and Forgiven was already in rocket jump range, he just needs to rocket jump in. And it's a guaranteed slow. And because of that slow, Kesa can no longer escape. She tried to flash. It was pointless. In that situation, you just need to accept that you're fucking dead. Even after this flash, the slow is still in place. Forgiven can still chase her down with the like last 1 or 2 auto attacks that he needs. And she actually does end up baiting his heal, which I think was really unnecessary because, you know, she's slowed. He doesn't need the movement speed to catch up for an extra auto attack, but he does it anyway. And I mean, in a matchup like this, it's probably not really going to matter. They can't really pressure them. It's only going to be Forgiven trying to pressure them. So, yeah, that was a free kill, really unnecessarily. But hey, it worked. So when in doubt, just channel your Hexaflash in plain sight. Because apparently that works. Okay. Anyway. So. And let me just go back slightly. Yeah, so they just kill Kesa here. Alright, so. Now that they finally earned the kill, now it's the perfect timing for them to just shove the wave and recall. The whole thing was actually beautifully timed because if you count the dots on the next wave, wait, in case you can't count, I mean, it's a cannon whiff, alright? So, sorry. So they can shove this in, and the next wave is going to be a cannon wave. So when Kesa revives and teleports back into lane, she won't be able to shove it into their tower and make them miss CS, as well as force a full reset thanks to her TP advantage, because cannon waves take far too much time to shove at this early on into the game when you're a champion like Kesa especially. I mean, she has some wave clear, but unless you're like Aurelion Sol, you're not going to clear a cannon wave in like 3 seconds. That even he can't, you know, it's hyperbole, okay? Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't even intentional for them to choose this moment to kill Kesa. It just so happened to be. But it just so happens that it's just the best timing you could ever hope for to get a kill. Because it's just the perfect timing to force a reset. But none of what I actually said even matters, because I think Forgiven here was greeting for a tower plating rather than taking his beautiful recall opportunity, choosing to stay in lane unnecessarily when he can take this perfect recall timing and get back into lane with BF Sword shortly after Kesa without losing any tempo. Given that before his recall, they really shouldn't be able to get anything done because of their mana and all their unspent gold. But because of Forgiven making this decision to push for the plating anyway, at least I suspect that's what he was doing, they see the Yuumi recalling here in too vulnerable a position with no one to attach to and no one to flash to save her. So they just move in, and they're able to punish that. Kesa starts channeling the TP, but doesn't matter. He's already dead. Forgiven just calls this fight a lost cause. Just pieces out. Goodbye, Pantheon. You served me well. And he just takes that recall. So they traded. They traded 1 for 1 there under tower, but I'm pretty sure Forgiven's more than happy to take that. Because the more kills he gets, the more kills he gets, the more he's gonna snowball. Whereas Kesa Yuumi is just not gonna snowball in this matchup. You can actually see Pantheon rushed Mobies on first back. So even though he died and Forgiven didn't, he actually reached the base at the same time. And after leaving base, he gets back into lane so much faster than Tristana. And now you can see he just hexaflashes through the wall, setting up that play. It's really sneaky. I love it. But Forgiven's pretty far away, and once he arrives, you see this massive wave is going to be crashing into his tower. So he can't really help Pantheon here. He needs to just farm this. Like, if he tries to move at all, it's going to give away to their bot lane. Hey, something's up. Why is Forgiven leaving? So he can't do it. So Pantheon is just going to stay. He's going to try and cheese. Case actually finishes a recall. You can't hear it, unfortunately, because I was pausing. But Pantheon chose to engage on Yuumi like right as Case's recall finished, which means that Yuumi can't attach onto Case anymore. So yeah, now she's got. Oh no, she actually has both summoners, so she's gonna try and use those to defend herself. But she has no gap closer. She has no like escape. Nobody to attach to save herself. She's just a scared little kitty, and he just kills her. Awesome. All because of that patience, waiting in that brush for the perfect opportunity. Okay, hang on. Alright, so I have to point out here, I really disagree with the timing of Forgiven's explosive charge on the tower. The cooldown is long enough that you can only use it onto towers once per wave anyway. So there's very little gain in using it sooner to get it off cooldown sooner. So instead, in this situation, since he knows he's not about to get pressured by the enemy team anytime soon anyway, since the jungler is mid and the support is dead, he should just save it until the next wave has arrived. So he gets the massive AoE off into the entire wave. Like here, once this bomb is going to explode, there's nothing around it. It's not going to hit anything except the tower, right? If he had used it like right as this wave is arriving here, the entire AoE goes off in that wave, and it just massively helps him clear the next wave and start shoving, right? So it's a little bit inefficient, his timing there. Just thought that was worth pointing out. You would always rather wait for the wave if possible. But at the same time, if you're worried that the enemy team is like gonna come show up and shove you off the wave, then okay, just use your E like as soon as possible. Make sure you're actually using it. But in a situation like this where it was obviously completely free, yeah, just no reason not to go for that. Okay, so now we actually see, at least finally got the potential opportunity to execute that dive that I mentioned at the very start. We see Kesa is alone. We don't see Yuumi anywhere. We don't see Mordekaiser anywhere. Just the very lone Kesa. Even if Yuumi were here, as I said, she has very little presence in the face of dives pre-6 and even kind of post-6 as well. So it's not really much she could do. So Elise spots the opportunity, moves in, and unfortunately, yeah, Mordekaiser just happened to be there. That was pretty unlucky. So remember when I said that Mordekaiser has to play around bot lane, make sure these dives don't happen? I don't know if he actually intentionally happened to be on golems. He went from raptors to golems and just happened to be here at the perfect timing. I don't know if that was coincidence. I don't know if he's some macro genius, but yeah. There's going to be no dive for them. Although she is going to use this pressure to try and steal his camps. He had no smite apparently, so I think she managed to steal that with her W. They actually try and dive between the tower. The thing is, I mean, this would be a pretty bold dive, right? I think if she'd actually stunned Mordekaiser instead, it would have I mean, he has flash up, but he would have been stunned. Then Pantheon can stun as well. Then Forgiven can jump in with Rocket Jump, and they would get a lot of burst off on Pantheon onto Mordekaiser before he can even react. I think they could have actually just one-shot him here if she just focused the Pantheon instead. Oh my god, I keep getting confused. If she just focused the Mordekaiser instead. But now, because they don't have that extended CC chain, they're already down the cocoon. Even if Pantheon jumps on Mordekaiser now, I don't think they would quite be able to burst him down before it just flashes away. So at this point, they just need to back off. But on the exit here, they can just get all this damage onto the plating. And onto the tower, and they get that plating as well. They can't stay and pressure it, but on the return, they could just do that. Why not? They were too far away to defend it. Okay, so here actually you see Elise moves up to place a pink in the tri-brush to check if they have vision, and they don't. Meaning the dive opportunity is actually still on the table. just as soon as Forgiven finishes shoving this wave in. So he's going to try and do that. But unfortunately, if you're looking at the map, you might see, these two mid laners are awkwardly positioned. Well, if we look over here, yeah, that's because Yasuo is engaging onto Cassiopeia. And that's not very good. Because now, like, on paper, this dive looks fine. Like, they don't see Mordekaiser anywhere, so long as he's not, like, here, and he's not here, and they're just going for this dive, it looks free as hell. But the thing is, she's, like, one hit away from death. Yasuo is flashed to make sure he gets that kill. And she just happens to be running in the exact perfect direction, where as soon as Yasuo is done picking up this kill, he can also try and help out here, in case they try and actually commit to this dive. Actually, Pantheon did actually start the dive. But because of the factors I just mentioned, Elise starts to back off. Forgiven doesn't jump in with them because Elise isn't following up with them. They can't dive 2v2 yet. And yeah, Yasuo does end up using the flash to kill Cassiopeia. Elise tries to help out. She gets some harass off maybe. Yeah, but can't do much. And overall, this also just ruined their dive opportunity. Again. Quite unfortunate. So there you can actually see that AoE minion damage that I was talking about. It missed 2 minions, but onto the rest you can see just how much damage it did. Ooh, let me just pause that. Let's show that again. Hang on. Okay, so Forgiven just got hit by Yumi Q, which is a nice bit of poke. And then here, you can see this is about to hit Forgiven as well, but Pantheon just manages to block it. That's actually so good from Pantheon because Forgiven is getting low to the point where it would be kind of risky to stay in lane because I mean they can't really threaten them 2v2. He doesn't need to be worried about them. But I mean the lower you are, like the more chances like cheese gank from Mordekaiser or a cheese teleport from Sound or just any random thing that you don't expect could happen and kill you. But Pantheon does block that, so prevents him from getting quite to the point where he's like dangerously low. Instead, he's just a little bit low. Okay, so here Forgiven keeps moving towards the tower to pressure despite having a lot of unspent gold and having a fine opportunity to recall, since Kesa likewise has unspent gold and an approximately equal amount of HP and mana. And since he's not afraid of getting collapsed on right now, he wants to keep on pressuring and forcing her to back before him, which would allow him to either finish off the tower, which you can already see is quite low, or if that's not possible, then at least shove the next wave into the tower to punish Kesa's back before backing himself, because it would mean that this next wave coming up would then all die to the tower and she misses all that. Which would then make it a good recall, rather than just a fine recall, which you can just take at any moment. Then here, his team actually starts pinging to collapse on Mordekaiser, who happens to be invading Elise. Wait, where is he? Oh, wait, that was weird. What the hell? There he is. Yeah. So, Yasuo was initially moving it to help, but he sees the scene and he's like, nah, that's not ending well. Peace. Just very silly of Mordekaiser to try and go for that when bot lane had full prio, which is more significant than mid lane having prio because it's 2 people versus 1. So yeah, even though he's 1v2 right now because Pantheon is helping Elise with the dragon, he actually just keeps on pressuring 1v2. The enemy bot lane is kind of hesitant to try and punish it because, I mean, it's Tristana, he's level 6, has a ton of burst. On his own, he probably can't actually 1v2, I don't think. But yeah, they don't have a whole lot of vision. So if they like try and pressure Forgiven to stop him from pressuring them, and it just so happens that Pantheon is already back on the way to the lane and he just flashes on them here and kills them, that would be really bad. So they just let him pressure them 1v2. And he just takes it because he's forgiven. Always play forwards. That's his mindset. Relentless pressure. So this ward is significant because it tells you, like, you don't ward right before a recall. You ward when you want to stay in lane. Forgiven, how much gold does he have right now? He has 1,900 gold. He could recall for like plenty of good items. He could get berserkers and a pickaxe, or he could actually sell the dagger for an infinity edge as well. And actually that's really good because I really love selling daggers because they cost 300 gold and you sell them for 210 gold. If you happen to need to sell it later on for like a power spike, you actually only lose 90 gold in the process. It's a lot better than like buying and selling a dark seal or a Doran's ring or a Doran's blade. It's much more efficient than any of those. So it's no problem if you have to sell a dagger. But he just goes for the ward because he wants to stay in lane. He has a bunch of unspent gold. But recalling when he doesn't have to, that's not the forgiven way, and especially because they just got this Ocean Drake, is gonna be massive for them to help them stay in lane. It's gonna keep them topped up on HP and mana. So even though it would be perfectly fine to recall right now, and he has much more gold to spend than Kesa does, doesn't matter to him. He just wants to keep on pressuring. Relentless pressure. So here you can see that he just completely ignores Kesa and Yuumi. He just hits the tower. He knows there's nothing they can do to stop him slowly taking this, since they don't have strong enough trades nor the tools to engage on him and kill him under tower. Even when he uses half of his cooldowns, his E and his Q, for tower damage. And any poke that they do get off on him, which he's just ignoring, I mean, he has Ocean Drake anyway. It's not going to last long. And either way, also, I mean, they don't have like any all-in threat onto these two, so it's like it doesn't really matter what damage they take, so long as they're not dropping to like 30% HP or anything. And then here he uses the ult taunt to Kesa. I think it was a mistake. I think he was kind of worried about Pantheon, but I don't know. Does Pantheon E block tower shots? I don't know, but either way, he doesn't really. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just blocked the tower shot, so he's plenty healthy. He was at like no threat of dying there, so I think that was a mistake of Forgiven to go for the ult. But overall, it's fine though because it's still like a ton of damage, so it's a lot of pressure onto Kesa. And now she's, well, with this current HP, she's at the point where she definitely can't stay in lane. But with Yuumi heals, it's a little bit different. But she's definitely very vulnerable right now, especially with Elise around. Again, she noticed the opportunity. She's coming in for that dive like to Papa. But as juicy as they look, no, again, Mordekaiser, he's on the same page. He's saying, yep, I can see that you can dive, so I'm going to come here and make sure you don't dive. That's like the second, third time this game. So he seems to be pretty good at reading this. Same as Elise. I mean, it's understandable for Challenger. But yeah. So yeah, Mordekaiser just stays in lane. He's not gank or anything. He's literally just sticking around, making sure they don't dive, making sure they can't take the tower either. And now, just as stubbornly as Forgiven wants to take this tower, they are just equally as stubborn at trying to keep it alive. Mordekaiser just keeps staying. He's been in this lane for like over half a minute now. Just staying with Yuumi, standing by Yuumi's side. Just making sure they can't get the tower. So, Forgiven here now realizes they have so much unspent gold in their pockets, and they can't just ignore Mordekaiser and get this tower because he's just tanking the wave. They can't even get the wave to hit the tower. And if they had more items, then maybe, sure, they could maybe pressure Mordekaiser. But they've been pressuring for so long, refusing to recall, that his items right now just aren't as great as they should be. So he's like, okay, there's nothing we can do here. So even though I'm Forgiven, I will actually have to recall before getting the tower for once. And here, as you see his recall channeling, actually, if you look really closely, you can actually, a tear start to slowly roll down his eye. as he has to retreat. Yeah. So yeah, he clears that wave. No tower for them, just a recall. Oh, right. So, okay, so interestingly, they're choosing to lane swap even before the tower is officially down. This surprised me before the first time that I actually saw it, but it actually makes perfect sense because this tower is pretty much down before platings run out, no matter what. So by just writing it off as a tower that's basically it's already down, they're just gonna pretend that this tower is already down because it basically is. Maybe not right now, but eventually. Even before the platings fall, yeah, of course it's going to go down. It can't survive on this HP. So he just writes it off as a fallen tower and just initiates the lane swap already. Even though usually you would only lane swap once the tower is actually already down. Also worth noting. Wait, hang on. We haven't actually seen it. Okay, yeah. Now, Kesa just showed up on the bot lane. So, yeah, if they would ideally want to match the lane swap to make sure, like, because, you know, Forgiven and Pantheon, or just Forgiven and anybody, 2v1, that's going to lead to a lot of turret platings, especially against the tank like Sion. I mean, okay, well, okay, to be fair, it's the boss. It's not a regular Sion, it's full lethality assassin Sion. But still, not really a champion who can do too much to defend his tower 1v2. Not like compared to somebody like Akali who can just all-in you and kill you 1v2. So, to prevent Forgiven from getting too many platings, the enemy bot lane would want to match the lane swap. But unfortunately, because Forgiven chose like such an unexpected time, like the tower isn't even down yet, they were not expecting that at all. So it's too late for them to match the swap now. Although Kesa does have teleport, so at some point we could see her trying to use that to match the swap without wasting too much time. Yeah, there are just like that. This tower had 5 platings, now it's down to 3. That's how quickly these people can get these platings down. That's why their bot lane needs to match the swap, where they can at least like try and pressure with auto attacks. But Sani just can't do anything. And here we see Elise just picked up the Herald as well. That's actually so good because that is just gonna lead to a free tower here. There's nothing the enemy team can do. If the enemy team had matched the swap, then and Mordekaiser joined them here, it would be 3v3, and the Herald would still get some platings, but they could probably just kill it and make sure it doesn't actually get the tower, because they can't dive 3v3. They could dive 3v2, they can dive 3v1 too, but they definitely can't dive a 3v3, and this Herald isn't going to one-shot the tower because of platings, making it tanky. So yeah, the fact that it didn't swap, really bad for their team. But I'm not really sure what happened here. They were making the right choice. They were making the smart decision. They were being like macro-y. And then they just turn around and they're like, I wonder what's going on here. I wonder if Mordekaiser is in his jungle. He is. And Pantheon makes the decision to jump in. And he gets ulted. And this entire time I'm just wondering, why didn't you just get that tower? You just got Herald. You shoved in the wave. You had a free tower, and then you just ran into their jungle and what? So she dies. Oh, and Pantheon, yeah, he's also about to die. Mordekaiser, the guy he tried to engage on, of course he's not gonna die. Oh look, Forgiven. Oh wow, that was actually so unfortunate that he got hit by that sound ult. That was kind of looked like bullshit, to be honest. But yeah, like I said, it's not a tank sound. It's the boss FFS. He's infamous for being a lethality sound one-trick and challenger. So once he hits that first spell, there's no escape. Look at that burst, disgusting. So yeah, this was really confusing. They made a really good lane swap call. They got 2 platings for free. Elise had all the pressure from her bot lane here, so she could get a free Herald. They moved up to top lane to use the Herald, and just turned around, went for the Fiesta, and they all died. What was the call there? What the hell did... Who pinged... What could... Did somebody see something in chat? Was it a ping? What could have possibly led to everybody just going all in on that call to run into their jungle? They didn't even have vision or anything. They didn't see, like, Mordekaiser being vulnerable or anything. They just ran in blindly, like, let's check their jungle. I don't know, man. By the way, yeah. In all that confusion, Kesa actually did use her teleport. She was in lane here with Cassiopeia. She saw the Fiesta going on. She teleported in. Of course, Yumi being Yumi, she also second wheeled on that teleport. So they all ended up here with a numbers advantage. So just really confusing for this team to go onto that. No, sorry, for Forgiven's team to go onto that call, knowing that that was a possibility. And even without knowing that was a possibility, I like just go for the fucking tower. Like, what? Yeah, I don't know. It was a really confusing moment. Still haven't wrapped my head around it. But it was a setback, and they definitely lost a lot of tempo off of this. But, I mean, nothing's really changed. They still do have the Herald. Unfortunately, the enemy bot lane actually, they did get the perfect opportunity to match the swap. Now, they actually did lose the tower in the process, to be fair, so it wasn't, like, free. But they also got, like, 3 or 4 kills there that they definitely shouldn't have been able to get. Okay, 3 kills. So that's pretty much, I'd be happy to lose the tower just for those 3 kills when I was going to lose that tower anyway. Okay, so Forgiven shoves in this wave. And then they want to use the Herald to join in that wave and get that tower. But why did Elise cast the Herald all the way over here? Because by the time this Herald actually makes it anywhere relevant, this wave is already long gone. I mean, it's not that the Herald is useless without a minion wave, but I mean, if you can combine a Herald with a wave, then why wouldn't you? Perfect timing, like, if considering this wave was already dead, the perfect timing would have been to, like, start casting Herald, like, right about here, with the wave about here, so they arrive at the same time. Then they shove this wave and they pressure with both at the same time, but whatever. It's happening this way for whatever reason. And oof, Pantheon channeling the Hexaflash from the brush. Yumi did not expect that. She moved in to try and get some damage onto the Herald, try and make sure that it dies before it actually gets the tower. And she thinks it's safe because there's this mini wave protecting her between Elise and her Cocoon. She doesn't expect a Pantheon Hexaflash, so she ends up getting stunned here. And I mean, it's like early game, she could just attach to anybody. When after getting stunned by somebody, she could just attach to Kesa, and it was all fine. They didn't have the damage to kill her. But at this stage of the game, 12 minutes in, they have more than enough burst to kill her when she gets caught like that. So yeah, Yumi just basically instantly dead. She stays on 14 HP for an awkwardly long amount of time, but I mean, she has a bomb on her. She's clearly dead. And everybody here on Forgiven side is pretty much full HP. And Case is stuck in not so cool spot to be in right now. Hey, here's the payoff, finally. Elise tower diving. It finally happened 12 minutes into the game. It didn't even happen bot lane, it happened top lane, but here we finally got it. Oh, yeah, okay. Actually, I was gonna say it. Hang on. Yeah, this all goes down, come on. Okay, so because of that beautiful catch from Pantheon, they actually end up getting the tower and killing the enemy bot lane, and Herald is still half HP after getting the tower, so they could theoretically keep on pushing with this Herald since there are 2 people down. But the thing is, you look at Elise, really low HP. You look at the map, where's Yasuo? Cassiopeia is even roaming up, so it could be that she even knows that Yasuo has moved up or could be moving up. So right now on this team, you have to be worried. We could be getting collapsed on. We should probably, even though we have a half HP Herald still, we should probably just leave anyway. And here we see Pantheon right on cue, flash Q. Right on cue with the flash Q. Just burst down Elise instantly. And yeah, now you look at it. I mean, we have Cassiopeia collapsing as well. So long as they can survive right now, it's not too bad, but it could potentially go bad for them. Now, that was such that was incredibly well played from Forgiven, dude, because what Yasuo was trying to do there was to EQ. I don't know if they call that a Keyblade or something, whatever. I don't know. It's the combo where he knocks you up during his dash, and it's like a free knock up without having to aim a skill shot. But Forgiven, I don't know if he was exactly trying to cancel the Q, as he ended up doing, or if he wanted to make his ult CC Yasuo at the same time that he got CC'd, so Yasuo wouldn't be able to ult off of the fact that Forgiven got knocked up. But either way, it ended up being that Yasuo Q started channeling while he was dashing towards Forgiven, but it didn't end up actually casting. So now he's a bit far away. He can't dash onto anybody anymore. He's got to try and aim his Q as a skill shot. So he does still have the opportunity to maybe knock somebody up and ult them. But whereas before, whereas it should usually be just like a completely free knock up, the way Forgiven played it, he just played it so well. He timed it so perfectly. Just right as Yasuo dashed in, just ulted him to prevent that free knock up. So that's not going to be so free, and we'll see how it plays out. Mordekaiser goes in with the flash. What is that? Flash E. That's kind of, it's a pull, but it basically counts as a knock up for Yasuo ult. I don't know why. Don't ask me. It just does. But Pantheon, okay, Pantheon does get hit by it, but Forgiven manages to dodge it because he's a mechanical god. And here we see the Yasuo Q casting too. Oh, look, he also dodges that because he's a fucking beast. So nobody actually, well, okay, Pantheon got knocked up, but Yasuo didn't want to ult Pantheon. He wanted to ult Forgiven. And Forgiven, he just didn't get knocked up by anything. And now they have no knockups left to actually try and kill him with. So yeah, just really well played from him all around. He managed to prevent the point and click knockup. I don't know how you do that, but he did. And then he also dodged the skill shot knockups. So that's about as well as you can play it. Yeah, so here we see Mordekaiser on 190 HP. So this looks free as hell. And Forgiven is about to get an assist on Yasuo here as well. So he's about to rocket jump. Then he gets the assist from Yasuo, so that gives him his reset. Now, what is this massive shield, dude? I'm still not used to new Mordekaiser. I was really shocked to see the shield being this big. I'm pretty sure Forgiven was as well, because he just jumps right back in. And then he auto attacks him again and he's like, why the hell is this guy still alive? When this fight started, or when I pointed it out, this guy had 190 HP. Since then he's taken like 2 or 3 auto attacks and a rocket jump worth of damage. And he's at 235 HP. He's gained HP from taking damage. Why is he so tanky? I don't know. Forgiven wasn't expecting it either. Because now he's like, oh shit, why are you still alive? Shit. And he's dead. So that was kind of unnecessary. He could have just not jumped into melee range. But I mean, when you think it's going to be a free kill either way, like rocket jump is free damage, sure, go for it. Just so happened to be that in this situation he miscalculated a bit how long it would take to kill Mordekaiser. So yeah, really necessary death. But overall, still a 1-5 from them. And still, aside from that one mishap at the end, overall played it really beautifully from Forgiven. Alright. So, yeah, now he just wants... He's already taken top lane tower. Bot lane tower already went down to Cassiopeia earlier during the whole thing here that we're not going to talk about. So now only mid lane tower is left. So he wants to just rotate there and start pressuring that. Nobody's defending it yet. I mean, he's safe on the bot side because of Pantheon covering here and Elise covering the river. So maybe people could like try and collapse on him here, but there's no way they're gonna collapse on both sides. So if anybody tries to gank, you can just always just walk down here and use rocket jump if he has to. So he was free to get the tower damage. He also defends it, so he doesn't get too much done. He doesn't get the whole tower for example, but yeah, he does get something done at least. You also get another dragon. Another ocean, beautiful. If you're gonna get oceans, it's perfect for it to happen in laning phase because it's the best laning phase dragon. They're probably my favorite dragon overall as well. They're definitely the most noticeable in their effect. But yeah, the entire team is just hard focusing on defending mid right now, so not too much FORG1VEN can do right now. Tristana is really fast at taking towers, but she's not actually amazing as a sieger, at least not at this stage of the game. Her auto attack range is not amazing. Can you actually see it? Yeah, okay, so right now she has 489 auto attack range. It's decent. It's pretty high for an ADC, to be fair, but I mean, it's no Caitlyn, right? And she doesn't have traps for zoning potential either. So now that they're trying to get down this last tower, the most defensible tower in the map, it's a lot harder to actually do. So there's gonna be a lot of dead time right now where FORG1VEN is just gonna be shoving waves, trying to do what he can to pressure the tower, but also if that's not possible, he'll just grab a red buff, rotate back to mid lane, try and get that. Okay, so yeah, so he just shoves that wave, then they clear that wave. Nothing at all going on right now. Now, this looks okay. Like, this also looks like inting. But if you're actually aware of how much damage Tristana does, especially when you're fed like this against somebody like Kesa, who's not as strong as FORG1VEN right now, you actually have so much burst that this is actually fine, even though it looks like inting. But the thing is, no, it's actually inting, because what did I point out before the game even started? Yuumi is exhaust. Exactly to prevent this kind of shit FORG1VEN. To deal with your fucking shit. Like, now look. Does that... No, there's not enough damage to kill somebody. It's just not. She used heal, she used exhaust. So to be fair, she did actually use a lot there to survive that, but I'm pretty sure the heal was like overkill anyway. Just the exhaust alone was already enough to make it so FORG1VEN's whole maneuver here a bit inting. Do they end up getting the return kill here? No, I think Pantheon is just dead now too. Or maybe not. Also, what the hell is going on here? Is he gonna... Okay, his flash came back up apparently. And sound just turned that. Okay. Alright, so yeah, a bit of an inty move from FORG1VEN. To be fair though, I don't think it actually led to like anything bad. Or, well, it led to kills, but not like too bad. Like, they couldn't get the middle lane tower off of it. There's no neutral objectives to get. I'm not sure if that was... No, if Yasuo gets this tower, I'm not sure it's related. Might be though. Yeah, they do end up losing that tower. But overall, not a tragedy for FORG1VEN to die there. And for what it's worth, he did get down all these summoners. That might end up being quite influential. So again, here... he just jumped in for an auto attack. That was a bit weird. Did he even... Wait, did he even have E? No, I think he did. But he just didn't use it. Let's see. Yeah, he just jumps in. He jumps in, but he sees that he's definitely not going to be getting a kill. So he doesn't even bother throwing his E on her. You can just really tell FORG1VEN is really bored with the game. Absolutely nothing has been going on for like the past 2 or 3 minutes. So he made that suicide engage. Now he just fucking tries to engage here as well, even though it's really useless. You can just tell he's so bored right now. I would be too. You can't blame him. But yeah, nothing bad comes of that. It's just funny watching him jump in for an auto attack. So yeah, he clears that wave. Goes for the Raptors. Nobody else is clearing them anyway. May as well get that while he's waiting for the next wave. Next wave arrives. So he goes in again. So Yumi's over there. Mordekaiser was somewhere around the area too. Now Keisa's... She doesn't have to like lure this wave over here. She can just clear it over here easily. So now you can see Forgiven is gonna say, hey, I have Pantheon with me. I know that Yumi is like somewhere over here, but like not right here. And even so, Yumi has very little defense against somebody getting jumped on like this. So he just jumps in. And that's exactly what happens when Keisa doesn't have a Yumi with exhaust onto her. That's what happens when you jump in on Tristana and it's not actually anything. Okay, that's pretty much anything from Mordekaiser. Why would you ever think you could win that 1v1? So that was a triple, just like that. Keisa got caught. Yumi tried to save her. She also got caught. But then Mordekaiser tried... I don't know. He was just trying to help out by being too late, but trying to do something anyway. So he died as well. Oof, look at that damage. Okay, they tried to dive him. Didn't quite work out. Or at least they didn't kill him anyway. But it's fine. They got the tower anyway. Now, this sound just starts ulting in. I guess he was probably... Like, you would think he's probably aiming for Pantheon here. Because Pantheon basically has to turn around to make sure that the AoE doesn't hit Forgiven as well. So then he can probably just one-shot Pantheon during the CC duration. But it actually looks more like he's aiming for Elise. Yeah, look, he's aiming for Elise. I don't know why. But the thing is, Forgiven also assumed, like me, that he would be aiming for Pantheon. So he jumps over here, like towards the direction Elise is in. And you can clearly see here, he is actually going for Elise. And Elise is like, fuck that, dude. I'm not tanking this shit for you. And she just rappels up into the air. And Forgiven is like, are you fucking kidding me? There's no way he can dodge this anymore because he already used his rocket jump. Which was a mistake, to be fair. It was kind of silly. Because Elise, Sion was kind of clearly going for Elise. But I guess it's kind of understandable that you would assume he would go for a Pantheon or him. Because it just makes so much more sense. But now he's kind of stuck in this situation. But he has flash, so he manages to dodge that. Now, he could have just walked out of the Pantheon. Walked out of the Sion queue. Instead, he kept trying to auto attack him for some reason. And like once the Sion queue was over, then he could have walked back into auto attack range to finish him off. But instead, because he's dead, he can't finish him off now. And by some miracle, this guy actually ends up surviving. And then everybody on this team, they all died. Somehow. I was so confused. Like, when I saw Sion ulting here, I was like, what the hell is he doing? Then I saw he was aiming for Elise rather than Pantheon. Because I assumed he was going to go for Pantheon and make the 1-for-1 trade. Which is, like, definitely favorite to Forgiven's team because they get more gold out of it overall and XP. Then I saw he was going for Elise, and okay, so I saw him going for Pantheon. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Then I saw him going for Elise, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Then I saw Forgiven jump over here, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Then I saw Elise rappel and give Sion just a free ticket towards Elise, towards Tristana. I'm like, what the fuck are you people doing? This was such a weird thing to happen in Challenger, to be honest, but yeah. Just goes to show you can play like a monkey even in Challenger, and you can still be good at this game. Like, if these people, think about it. These people are the best EOS has to offer. What is your excuse? Alright? Forgiven was one of the best ADCs in the world. Maybe still is. And he does that. What's your excuse, dude? Why are you not Challenger? Think about it. Alright, so Dragon is finally coming up. Finally a neutral objective to fight over. And also this mid lane tower finally went down after Forgiven got that pick onto Keisa and then Yumi and then Mordekaiser. So yeah, finally shit is happening. And there's more shit to fight over soon. Or at least if the enemy team doesn't fight over it, then, well, at least they get something free out of it. And yeah, they're probably not going to fight over it, so yeah. So they just pick up that free dragon. Okay, so San is very clearly overextended here, but he might just be able to escape with ult. What the hell is he running there for? Oh my god. The balls in this guy, dude. Okay, so Baron is about to come up. I just want to point that out. It's about to come up. There's 5 people bot lane. I really hope they're not about to just continue trying to chase him down. Oh no, they're still trying to chase. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, what's going on here? Oh no! What are you doing? Okay, so they get the sound. Baron literally just spawned right at the second. I think these people already realized. They're like, oh shit, guys. Let's get some vision here. Shit, what's going on? Yeah, this Baron is 100% down. But I'm pretty sure, well, they're potentially in a position where they can maybe clean up after this Baron goes down. They 100% can't save it. It's too late for that. It's a lost cause. But Nara's recalled. I guess he's going to TP in. And these guys are basically already here. They don't have time to recall after getting this Baron. Maybe they can run away. Maybe they'll be afraid to like force a fight. But definitely gives them a chance to engage if they think they can win. And FORG1VEN just looks at those 4 people and says, I'm going to take my chances. He just jumps in on Mordekaiser. 0 fucks given. No fear at all. Relentless pressure. He gets windwalled. He gets exhausted. He does absolutely nothing. But look at this. Mordekaiser, this dumbass. He ulted FORG1VEN. FORG1VEN here, he was stuck in a fucking 1v4. Exhausted. Windwalled. Can't do any damage. Can't escape. Can't get any resets. Doesn't have flash up. Doesn't matter. Now it's a 1v1. Don't have to deal with windwall anymore. You're still exhausted, but that's fine. That's fine because Mordekaiser is actually so useless against ADCs. I swear. Like in Death Realm, I always 1v1 the Mordekaiser. Like he is so bad against ADCs. Yeah, especially Tristana with that ult. Oh, how are you meant to come back from this? How do you close the gap again and kill him? He just completely ruined his team's opportunity to kill FORG1VEN. And for what? For nothing. He didn't even kill FORG1VEN 1v1. Okay, now he just tried to flash him FORG1VEN. But, yeah, FORG1VEN had heal up. His W came back up. But even without that, I mean, he has so much HP left over. You can see he was, like, nowhere near dying in that situation. So bad for the Mordekaiser, dude. So, yeah. The one good thing about the way this all played out is that only Mordekaiser died. And Sion was already dead, so he didn't have a Baron buff in the beginning anyway. But the rest of them got to just run away. And so now they still got 3 Baron buffs up. And FORG1VEN's team only got 600 gold for that. I mean, a little bit more because of the assist too. But, you know, only 2 kills. Overall, this whole thing was still worth for blue team. Although at least this team also picks up a tower. Not sure what Sion is doing there. Wait, whoa, dude. Oh, wait, how is Sion level 15? I only just noticed this. I didn't even notice on the first watch. It doesn't matter. I'm just really confused. Like, look at the levels in everybody else. Like, sure, Yasuo is 14. Cassiope is 14 too. But, I mean, you look at his lane opponent, Nar. Oh, dude, he's ATCS down. What the fuck? Okay. Makes a little bit more sense. Sorry, it's just really weird to see a Sion 3 levels ahead of a fed Tristana, no less. It's just not something you see every day. But yeah. He's dead either way. 3 levels up or not. Doesn't matter though. He didn't even have a Baron buff anyway. Who cares? Nope, FORG1VEN just gonna recall. Not really too much they can do right now anyway. Even with the Sion dead. And ideally they would want to wait for the Baron buff to run out before they make any plays. Because the Baron, dude, Baron empowered minions actually do so much damage in team fights. It's insane. If you can avoid team fighting with the Baron buff up, please do so. So yeah, I think Forgiven's team right now is just basically stalling for that to end. And blue team, even though it was nice that they got the Baron for the gold and whatever pressure it brings them, like the fact that this team can't really engage on them right now, or at least not pressure their towers. They're not strong enough to walk up and pressure either. They can't siege, so it's just a waiting game right now for both teams. Why is he walking all the way around? I won't question it. I'm sure he has his reasons. One, two, three, four, five. Why are there 5 people bot lane here? They do realize they're playing against the Tristana, right? Well, he also clears the wave anyway, it doesn't matter. It was a bit weird though. If not for Yasuo noticing that and clearing the wave, they probably would have been able to get the inhib tower. Although I don't know. To be fair, they do have Baron empowered recalls, so the window for getting the tower would have been very small. That's dangerously close. Nothing bad happened though. What the hell was that ult? Does that look like it was anywhere close to reaching anybody? No. That's so weird. Like, even if I had hit, like, I'm not really sure what it was gonna accomplish. Oh, what's going on here? Why do they still have 2 people bot lane though? Like, this is so weird. This lane can just... Oh, Pantheon is channeling his ult. Yeah, this... I was about to say this... Well, the people on this lane can just engage right now. If they kill these people, that's game. Oh, that engage is disgusting. Yeah, there's not much to analyze here. They just run them down. Yeah. Mordekaiser drops. Wait, Nard didn't even die. Oh. They just... I mean, they didn't throw. They didn't have the lead, but it was kind of weird to go for that. Just gave these guys the free win. So yeah. That was FORG1VEN's Tristana. Okay, so hopefully I've done a decent enough job on breaking down FORG1VEN's play and his style of unrelenting pressure, as well as the calculated decisions and also maybe not so calculated decisions that go into it. Once again, I really hope this has turned out better than my previous VOD reviews. Otherwise, those 3 hours of taking notes were probably the biggest waste of time of my life. But hopefully they have definitely caused an improvement. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe and even consider sharing it if you think it worthy. I'll be making more content like this in future, not only on FORG1VEN and not only on ADC. In the long run, I want to focus on quality content for all things League of Legends, so I hope there will be something for everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time.